All right, welcome to the Investopreneurship journey. My name is Chris Accinelli. I'm the founding partner of Bootstrapper Capital. We build, buy, and sell simple, profitable businesses every single day. And today, it's the intention of the day, at least, is to get you introduced and indoctrinated into this idea of investopreneurship. Tell you, what the heck an investopreneur is, and hopefully, after we finish this section, have you self-identifying as an investopreneur. Right? That's the heart of our community ethos and culture. So it's really important that we kind of communicate it. This is intended to be foundational, right? So this is a foundational blueprint, the first of many boot camps that we have to be able to help teach, train, equip you on this journey. The goal here is to get you to value fast. So I don't want this to be a long-winded thing. I'm going to try to keep this video itself under 30 minutes. But I do want to get you the common vocabulary, make sure we're reading off the same sheet of music, introduce you to some of the core concepts, and then hopefully put you in a position where after this first intro section, you feel very good and confident, and we can actually launch your personal operating system, your personal OS, get you introduced to that, know how to use it, so that as you continue through the boot camps and continue through the Bootstrapper Capital community experience, you're acclimated, you feel comfortable. By the time that you get to the Simple Profits business operating system, which is far more in depth and has more meat on the bones, you kind of feel comfortable with it and you could tackle that successfully. So again, this is like very high level introductory type of stuff. This is on a personal level. So the Investopreneur's journey is a very personal journey. It's your journey, right? As we compound here, we'll work through like becoming a venture scout and then ultimately some simple ways that you could bootstrap to cash flow, introduce you to the Simple Profits OS, and then the build, buy, sell game, right? So the whole goal is to kind of ladder things down, right? We want to get you introduced and then get you comfortable and then build and build and build and build. So it's very foundational in terms of our approach. That being said, again, want to keep this under 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, kind of get you this information up front, right? Again, bear with me. This is live. I'm doing this live. I'm trying to do this in one shoot where we don't have to edit or anything of that nature. Keep it authentic. Keep it what it is. So, if I misspeak or whatever the case may be, please bear with me. Don't judge me too much. But again, we're gonna discuss our why this is important to you, right? We're gonna establish hopefully a common vocabulary so we're all speaking the same words and they mean the same things and we're reading off the same sheet of music. It's really important, especially for community, especially for what we're doing. Manage a little bit of expectations. Most importantly, like what this is not, right? I want to make sure that we're all on the same page of like what not to expect from this, and then open up everything else to what you want from it, right? And then hopefully get you access, right? So we want to get you access definitely in terms of moving forward to the next chapter here, or next section, the personal OS, but also put you in a good position where like how to get access to other things as well, specifically things of value. Right? So when we're looking at the Investopreneur's journey, the boot camp that you're currently in, right? The foundational boot camp, what you'll get out of this, and this is important to communicate so that expectation management up front, like what this is versus what this isn't. We're going to launch a simple personal operating system that's built on Notion. It's designed to be super flexible. It's also affordable, which is one of the reasons why we did it. There's no subscription fees or anything tied to it. You can also change it because it's flexible to make it more suited, better suited to your needs and requirements as you continue to work, and move forward. We want to give you the foundational operating system. Once you get this operating system, we're going to focus pretty heavily on your personal finances, right? A big part of the Investopreneurship journey is to get a basic foundational understanding of where you are in life, right? How much revenue you have coming in, how much expenses are going out, what's left over. And then once we get a good picture, we then have a plan that we could set. And the first level of goal is to create less risk, right? So we want to take risk off the table for you. We want to support you in this endeavor, in this process, to be able to drive additional revenue and build your top of line, right? So we want to reduce your expenses. We want to then have a plan and a strategy to grow your top of line. And then ultimately, we want to get you the knowledge and the know-how, right? And the accountability to get into the build, buy, sell game. right? So there is a very specific approach that we take, and there's a big why behind it. It's very methodical, right? Most importantly, at the end of this, what we're hopefully able to communicate, and it's kind of like a core underlining ethos for us all, what's very, very important. It's all about financial literacy and entrepreneurship, right? We genuinely believe that if you could blow open financial literacy and entrepreneurship, you can change pretty much anything. We think that, financial literacy is the same equivalent as like what basic literacy was back in maybe the 1700s, right? If you could sign your name and enter into a contract and do business, right? Like basic financial literacy, you could be a landowner, you could own property, you could build businesses and create wealth. Like today, what we see is the same restrictions and there's limitations, right? Only so many folks could do that type of stuff. Right now, we see the same type of thing as in financial literacy and entrepreneurship. It's not readily accessible in terms of how to do things like go out and buy a business and then grow it and then flip a business, right? This information isn't readily available. And through the limitations, right, by restricting access to it, it creates this competitive advantage for the folks, or a moat for the folks that do have access. What we're trying to do and what we want to do here is blow open that access. And this isn't just like a, hey, we're saying this because it's the right things to say type of thing. I wrote a book when I was 19, right? I wrote it like 20 days before I was 20, and I published it, and it's out there. It's been out there for a long number of years. And a big part of that book, some of the chapters, the intro chapters, the end of it, all that stuff, was tied to the same exact message. Like, this is a personal belief system. I've had it for a long period of time. I still have it and carry it with me today. And a lot of what I'm trying to do now in this chapter of my life, this season and the next seasons moving forward, is try to give as much as you possibly can to share as much of this information as possible, right? So let's get into like what is being an investorpreneur. This is the identity. It's the identity that we've given to ourselves in this community. It's the identity that we have for anybody inside of this ecosystem, right? We literally, self-identify as an investorpreneur because by sharing this common identity, we can share common goals. By sharing common goals, we can share common approaches. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we can help each other learn and achieve, right? Strategies, structures, and accountability, ultimately getting us to simple, profitable outcomes. So it's really important that we all identify, similarly. It's very important that we take similar approaches, and then we're able to be in a situation in which we can share with one another in the community of these approaches to learn together collaboratively, right? In its core, an investorpreneur or investopreneurship is a less risky approach to being an entrepreneur, right? It's a less risky approach to entrepreneurship. Best way for us to think about it is anybody bootstrapping a business and trying to make it simple, profitable up front, right? That is the best definition or like picture of an investorpreneur. It's somebody who focuses on profitability, somebody who's trying to take risk off the table, right? Get to simple, profitable outcomes. Think of it like this, right? So it's two words definitely put together: investor and entrepreneur. And we try to take the best of both worlds, right? And that's the picture that we're trying to create here. And that's why the word is so powerful unto itself, right? So it's taking all of the discipline of an investor, right? And the risk aversion, right? I don't want to be exposed to risk or take unnecessary risks. So I'm a disciplined investor. And then the grit of an entrepreneur, that steadfastness, right? The willingness to do whatever it takes, right? That passion that an entrepreneur has, and combining the best of both worlds. And ultimately, the byproduct is a less risky approach to entrepreneurship. It's being very smart and methodical in our decisions. It's putting to work the best practices in terms of structure, strategies, right? And stories of others, shared experiences that get us to simple, profitable outcomes, right? That's what being an investorpreneur truly is. In terms of the journey of an investorpreneur, we've tried to simplify it, right? We're trying to take as much risk out of the investorpreneur's journey as we possibly can, right? So a lot of this is coming from my own personal experiences. A lot of it comes from conversations and stories of other, folks who have accomplished amazing things in the way that they've gone about it. And most importantly, a lot of it comes from hindsight. Hindsight's 2020, right? It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback type of thing. Like, I wish I did this type of stuff. A lot of the things that we put into Investopreneur's journey here is like hindsight stuff. I wish I did, right? One of the things I did when I first got started was I said, I need to be an entrepreneur, so I can't work for anybody else, right? Like, I need to do this on my own. If I'm working for somebody else, I'm not really an entrepreneur. Like, I need to prove to myself, like, ego is a big thing, right? Like, I had this ego. It was like, I needed to do this on my own type of stuff. Retrospectively, right, that was the wrong approach. I got lucky, luckily I got very lucky, but I could have probably been more lucky, faster, and done more faster and compounded my wealth faster if I took a different perspective, right? I've also seen a lot of folks over the years. I've been submerged in the ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem in a lot of different ways for a long time. And I've had the privilege of seeing a lot of awesome folks. And in that process, not a lot of them also haven't made it through to success because there's just too much risk that was surrounded in their journey, right? And if they took the risk off the table, the likelihood of them getting to the simple, profitable outcomes or getting to the end destination would have been higher, right? So the first thing that we promote, level one, is go get a job, right? Take risk off the table in terms of financial risk and constraints. Go get a job, right? We want you to get somebody to pay you to get experience, right? That's very important. We all need experience. Experience is a real thing. Like, you can't just wake up one day and then say you're going to go do things, right? You can, but there's lessons that need to be learned. There's ways and approaches, and methodically over time, you become a master of your craft, right? And it takes time. So you got to buy your time, and you got to buy your exposure, and you got to create and manufacture opportunities to get experience, right? You need to get at bats, right? To be able to get some practice. Getting a job is a great way of doing that. And if you change your perspective, you can change your approach. And what we'd want to do in this moment in time is change your perspective and shift your perspective on getting a job. Don't think of it as you're getting a job to be in the rat race. Think of it as you're getting a job because now you're literally getting somebody else to pay you to get better, right? To get that experience. Then you can get to level two, and it's take all of that experience, right? And some of that pay, some of that financial gains that you've made off your job, your salary, right? And go get an asset on the side. And by get an asset, we have different approaches. You could either build an asset or you could buy an asset. Through this journey and through all the boot camps that we provide in the community, we show you how to do kind of both and take different types of approaches. And, we have a belief system that there's a way to approach this type of stuff. We focus on cash flow and simple things first, right? But you're going to take those experiences and then you're going to get something else. And then the level three is pretty simple. It's a goal, right? What now you have is a simple goal. And that's to get your asset to match your income, right? We actually even simplify it even further, right? That first goal, we try to actually get you to know, and this is what you're going to do in this journey, is break down your financial life. You're going to know what revenue you have coming in, your expenses going out. That's going to be the thing that we get into next when we launch your OS. And we initially actually simplify the goal even more from level three. Instead of matching your income right away, it's actually matching some of your expenses, mainly your big life expense, which is like cover the cost of your living. That's like the first small goal. And it's how you eat a whale. It's one bite at a time, right? Like, don't take on big things, just take on achievable things and then do them consistently over time and get to your desired outcome, right? So level three, it's about simple goal setting, right? You just want your asset to match your income. Now you can get to level four, and that's level up. Go get a better job, get somebody to pay you to get more experience, have more resources. And the big thing about this and the powerful why, in terms of why this is something that works and why it's an empowering thing to be able to embrace, people play scared, right? People are afraid all the time. Fear is a real thing, right? Emotion trumps logic, right? Logically, I would never run into a burning house, right? Like, that's scary. That doesn't make sense. But if my kiddos were inside that house, right, or my loved ones were inside that, I'm in that house. I'm in that fire, right? Emotion trumps logic. And fear is a huge emotion, right? So people play scared in life all the time because you need that job, right? You need to be able to pay your car note. You need to be able to buy food and eat. You need to be able to get these things that you need. You need to be able to pay, right? So we live with this scarcity mindset of need, right? And the way that we typically fill that need is through, employment. And then we play it scared. Our whole lives, we're just playing it scared. When you have an asset that matches your income and you're like, shit, if I lose this, whatever, like I'm already good. I've already figured out my finances. I could already live on this amount, right? I'm on top of my shit. I got my shit together, right? And now all of a sudden you have an asset that's producing the same and you've just leveled up in life. You don't have to play scared. You can go to your company or your boss or whatever and say what you believe, right? You can ask for more, not because you feel like you are for some undesirable reason, like, privileged to get more, but because you've earned more, because you deserve more, because you've earned it. You've earned more because you've leveled up your skills, because you're able to create more value, right? And you can position that and you go get more. And if they say no, you say, well, all right, I'm going to go someplace else, right? It gives you this leverage in life. And by leveraging this in life, you can repeat the process. And they got C to 5, right? Step 5 is you're just repeating this process. You're continuing leveling up, continuing to get more skills, continuing to accumulate assets that pay you cash flow, continuing to set simple goals, and then, repeat until at some point, the only thing that can level you up in life is your own portfolio, is yourself, right? Is this portfolio of assets, right, that you own, right, that cash flow for you, and nobody else can get you more other than yourself. That's the ultimate goal in terms of this Investopreneur's journey.